name is William Wei of Pinnacle Real Estate Group. A few housekeeping tips. All participants will be muted, and should you have a question or a comment, please remember to enter it in the chat box. Please remember to join us weekly as we will have our virtual MLS breakfast meeting every Thursday at 9 a.m. As always, this meeting is being recorded and will be available online on our YouTube channel, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. Please remember to follow WSGVR social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch all our pre-recorded videos on YouTube. WSGVR introduced a new text message service. For updates, text WSGVR to the number 72727. A little about me. My name is William Wei, and I am the October MLS Program Chair. Today's agenda consists of our speaker, Assemblymember Chau, representing the 49th Assembly District, and affiliate spotlight, Ami Adini Environmental Services, followed by President's Message by Mindy Ye, 2020 WSGVR President. Just a reminder that to be eligible for today's raffle, you must be a WSGVR member and your name must be displayed to win. No telephone numbers will be accepted. Today, our agenda is a little different. We are going to listen to our speaker first and then continue with our agenda. To get our program started and introduce our speaker is Giuseppe Veneziano. Take it away.
I am actually going to give a brief info on our assembly member this morning because we are limited on his schedule time. More detailed information is in the email that was sent out. Assemblymember Ed Chau has represented our District 49 since November 2012. His district includes our 5 cities, as well as Arcadia, El Monte, San Marino, and portions of Montebello and South El Monte. He is a member and has chaired many committees in the Assembly and has authored notable laws to promote affordable housing. He joint authored the California Consumer Privacy Act of 2018 that grants rights to consumers over their personal data across the internet. He also had legislation signed into law for sustainable clean water sources for the community. Here's a few little tidbits that many people may have not known, but he also attended USC, the University of Southern California. Go Trojans, fight on. Southwestern University School of Law, and holds 2 bachelor's and a Juris Doctor. That's quite impressive, and he's practiced law for over 20 years until he became our Assemblyman. Here's another fun fact that I just learned about myself, actually. Assemblymember Chau was actually an engineer for IBM and a programmer for Unisys Corporation, which is right along the lines of my background as well. And this is another one that I didn't know about, but he was also a judge pro tem for the Los Angeles Superior Court for over 10 years, for over a decade. That's impressive. That one I did not know. And so if we have some more time after his presentation, we'll go ahead and have some questions that you can go ahead and write in the chat room, and I'll go through them, and we'll ask your questions to the assembly member. And I've known Assemblymember Chau for over 15 years since he served as the board member of the Montebello Unified School District, and I'm proud to call him my friend. And ladies and gentlemen, your assembly member, Ed Chau.
Well, thank you very much for that very kind introduction. And it's a pleasure to be with you. And in the past, I've had occasions to speak to the group. And this year, unfortunately, we have to do it virtually. And I want to thank all of you folks for hosting today's event, and despite the pandemic. I'm speaking to you from my office here in Monterey Park in the district, and it's a pleasure to do so. And I've been asked to share a few thoughts with all of you about the pandemic and its impact on the state of California, as well as the real estate industry. And obviously, the pandemic has upended the lives of every single person on this planet, and needless to say, and it's kind of frustrating in many regards. And but as far as the economy is concerned, it also has a tremendous impact on the economy. Based on the most recent prediction given by the Little Hoover Commission here in California, the pandemic has actually created a situation that is the most severe economic downturn within the last 30 years. And one indicator is the loss of jobs here in California, as well as the unemployment rate. And if we go back to March and April timeframe, we saw a loss of 2.6 million jobs here in California. And when the situation peaked in the month of May, the unemployment rate hit a record high of 16.4%. And since May, we have seen a little bit of good news. I think it is climbing back up gradually. And we have seen an increase of about 800,000 jobs added since May. So we're seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So that is, but that's is still a long ways to go. We've seen increase in jobs in 6 of the 11 major industry sectors. But all in all, we are still in pretty bad shape. So, and obviously the pandemic has also impacted the state budget. In fact, according to the Department of Finance, the pandemic has created a situation where we are going to be in the shortfall of about $54 billion. And of that number, we anticipate that maybe $13 to $14 billion will be absorbed this year in the current fiscal year, and the remaining $40 billion will be in the upcoming fiscal year. And so one good thing about the way that we've been conducting business here in California is that we have built up a little bit of reserve, as well as what we call a rainy day fund over the last about 10 years or so. Thanks to the voters, thanks to all of you, thanks to the legislature, as well as to the 2 governors, former Governor Jerry Brown, as well as to some extent Governor Newsom. We have built up this reserve and also a rainy day fund so that we could cushion a little bit of the carnage damage caused by this pandemic. And much of the funding that we have allocated out of the 2 pots is to basically look, to fix the social service issues, education, childcare, and the like. And those are the sectors that have been hit extremely hard, not to mention others, obviously. So the Department of Finance also predicted that the cash receipt that we have in front of us will be a little bit better than predicted, which is another piece of good news. So, we're looking a little bit better, but all in all, we're still in pretty bad shape as far as the economy is concerned. Now, you may ask the question, how has the pandemic impacted the real estate industry? So in general, the impact has been following a similar pattern or trajectory as well as, as the state, in the sense that for the month of March, as well as month of April, the number of real estate showings declined dramatically. And as you well aware of, and then beginning in May, it gradually picked back up. And the the number of showings, real estate showings, has actually increased since based on the recent information. The percentage is about 140% over the pre-pandemic period, as well as if you compare a current situation with about a year ago, that number of real estate showings has increased. Now, as far as the last few weeks, there's been some mixed signals. I think all in all, here in the state of California, the number of closed sales has increased by about 6% compared to compared to, let's say, pre-pandemic and a few years ago. And but the number of closed sales within the last few weeks have actually dropped by 20%. So you got a mixed bag. So prices are still being set at a record level, and there's a demand for more supply. So you got mixed situation there. So, but all in all, there has been an increase within the last few months. Overall, that is, so things are looking back up a little bit. Now I want to talk a little bit about, about moratorium and foreclosures. Many of you know that currently we have a moratorium on evictions as well as foreclosures. And as far as foreclosures are concerned, it's estimated that there will be approximately 600,000 foreclosures nationwide. And take 10% of that, about 60%, 60 foreclosures will occur here in the state of California. Now, what about renters? Renters, it's estimated that there are about 1.7 million renters who are falling behind on their rents, meaning that there's going to be possibly an eviction cliff. So some of you have been paying attention to the foreclosure and the eviction situation, and there was a moratorium on evictions, first of all by the governor's office, and then the Judicial Council also placed a moratorium on evictions early on in March of this year. And the moratorium was lifted in September, actually by the end of August. So September 1st, the official lifting of the moratorium by Judicial Council went into effect. Now I'm going to go back to the moratorium in a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit about the legislature also. The pandemic obviously has impacted the legislature and its operation as well. And because of the different guidelines that we had to abide by, for example, the social distancing and wearing a mask and all that. So the operation for the legislature also was altered dramatically in the sense that the number of hearings was tremendously reduced, and the number of bills carried by each member was reduced. So we were carrying approximately maybe 25% of the normal bill load that we used to. So a lot of the bills that we carry were focused on things that were related to the pandemic and housing, for example, and healthcare, for example, social services, for example. So the number of bills that we looked at was dramatically reduced. And I want to talk a little bit about the legislation in respect to the real estate industry. And I think one of the most consequential housing legislation, I would say, is AB 3088, and that is the Assembly bill by Assemblymember David Chau of San Francisco. Now, the bill, AB 3088, essentially establishes a moratorium on the evictions related to COVID-19. And I think the best way to perhaps explain the law would be by way of an example or hypothetical. Now, the moratorium, like I said, was lifted in September 1st of this year. Now, this law works in two different phases. Now, beginning in March of this year to end of August is considered one phase, one period. And then beginning with September 1st all the way until end of January next year, that's a second phase. Now, what the law says is that if a tenant is behind on his rent, that is related to non-payment of rent due to the COVID-19, then there's no eviction. So in practice, how it works is that let's say if the tenant is behind or does not pay rent, then the landlord will give a notice to the tenant. What used to be a 3-day notice is now a 15-day notice. So the landlord will give a 15-day notice to the tenant. Now, in which the tenant has one of the 3 options. Number 1, vacate the premises. Number 2, pay the rent. Or number 3, the tenant has the right to return the 15-day notice to the landlord, saying that the non-payment of rent is because of financial hardships imposed by the pandemic. Now, this statement would have to be signed under penalty of perjury. And if the tenant returns that notice or statement under penalty of perjury back to the landlord within 15 days and agrees to pay 25% of the rent owing for the second phase, then he's protected from eviction. Now, the second phase, what I mean by that is the time period between September 1st and January 31st. So if the tenant agrees to pay 25% of the rent owing starting in January 1 all the way until January 31st, then that tenant will be protected from eviction. Now, the balance, what about, you asked the question, what about the balance of the back rent? If the tenant agrees to pay 25%, then there's still obviously the remaining 75%. Now the 75% back rent could be pursued by the landlord after January 31st. In fact, starting in March 31. Now, the landlord will be able to pursue that back rent in a small claims court. Now, normally small claims courts are reserved for claims that are under $2,500, but the law would allow small claim courts to have jurisdiction over this kind of landlord-tenant situations. So the landlord is still entitled to recover the balance of the rent in a small claim court, only in a delay manner. So, just a recap. So, if the tenant is behind, so the landlord gives notice, 15-day notice. Basically, the tenant will say, "Look, I can't pay rent because of COVID-19 has put me in a financial bind, and here is a statement signed under penalty of perjury that I'm willing to pay 25% of the rent." So he's protected. Okay. So the law is, also it's very, in addition to covering this particular situation, it also protects the landlord in the sense that it will expand some of the rights under the what we call the homeowner's right of the homeowner's right law, which is to help with the forbearance situation. So the landlord would have the right under the homeowner's protection of right, with the lender. So the lender would have to give notice. For example, we would have to kind of explain to the borrower, that is the landlord, if he or she cannot be granted a forbearance, for example. So that is the operation of 3088 in a nutshell. So I know it may be a little confusing to some, but if you have questions, later on, maybe I could go over that a little bit more. Now, that's one of the major housing bills that the legislature passed in the housing area in reaction or in response to the pandemic. And there were several other attempts to help with the housing situation. I think Senator Rubio had a bill, SB 1212, that would change the makeup of an entity called the Housing Trust for San Gabriel Valley. And there was another bill that was to address the issue of density bonus, and that was AB 2345. That is a bill by Assemblymember Gonzalez along with David Chau. And essentially that bill will adjust the density bonus numbers so that developers will have more incentive to develop more housing, for example. And And there were several other housing bills which didn't make it all the way. But I think those are the major ones that made it and signed into law by the governor that impact the housing situation. And so now I think what I can do is to probably open it up for questions so that, if I was not very clear about any of the things that I mentioned, I'll be happy to explain that. And so would that work for you guys? And I don't know how much time you allotted for Q&A. Giuseppe?
It depends. The allotted time would have been whenever your presentation was completed. So
okay.
we do it. Yeah. So if you're done, we can start Q&A.
Yeah, that is the gist of the presentation. And I think that, I could go on to other legislation as well. But I think if there are questions out there, I'll be happy to field them before we end.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions that I see here. Number one, from Mario Manzanilla. You spoke about the pandemic and how it affected real estate. How are the current fires affecting the real estate market at this time? Do you have any information on that?
Yeah, there's no official study on the impact of the fires on the real estate market in general. But I think it will probably impacted the supply side. Obviously will be impacted also. I think here in the Southern California area, we still have the Bobcat fire, which destroy a lot of the areas up in the mountains. But as far as the housing situation, I think there were, relatively speaking, it's not as bad as, let's say, Northern California. And I think part of the reason why the situation is not as bad, as far as the sales is concerned, is because a lot of the potential home buyers are from, let's say, from higher income bracket. So they're generally higher wage earners. But there are also people who've been impacted that don't make a lot of money. For example, the retailers and the restaurant workers and frontline workers. So I think I think that remains to be seen. I think now that the Bobcat fire has been somewhat contained, I think, for the most part. So.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. This falls in line with the 3088. Is there a way to protect owners or landlords from losing their property due to the tenant not paying rent and having the rents deferred for over a year? And a second question to that would also be, do you know if how banks are, if there's going to be any sort of some standards that banks can help landlords in terms of the mortgages and stuff?
Yeah, the bill, AB 3088, protects tenants, but it doesn't really deprive the landlord of the balance of the rent, as I mentioned before. I think the landlord is still entitled to recoup the remaining balance of the rent owing, that is the 75% in a small claims court, but in a delay manner, obviously. So the landlord cannot bring a lawsuit in small claims until March of next year. So I think this is a situation where you have to kind of balance the interests. That's what the legislature did. I think the landlords obviously have a big stake in this equation also, but to balance the number of evictions, potential evictions here in the state of California, so the 25% was something that was negotiated extensively amongst all the stakeholders. to be a reasonable number or a number that was acceptable by all stakeholders in a sense. So the landlord is protected in that way. Number one, the landlord is still entitled to recover the balance of the back rent. And number two, the landlord is also able to speak to or communicate to the lender, the bank, and the lending institution about possible forbearances. And obviously, we cannot force the banks to say, do not foreclose on the property, or but under this bill, the landlord is entitled to still talk to the lender, and the lender is supposed to also, like I said, extend the homeowner's bill of right, all the privileges under that bill to the lender for landlords who own 1 to 4 units, and so if also the banks are also obligated to, let's say, in certain circumstances, to pursue any federal remedies that there might be on behalf of the borrower, that is the landlord or the homeowner. So if the landlord is unable to get a forbearance from the bank is obligated to at least provide an explanation as to why there's no forbearance or there's no other way to work it. So in a sense, at least the small landowners, people who own 1 to 4 units, would be given some protection under this bill. So it's not a perfect solution yet, but I think it is a temporary solution. The intent is to work through another, hopefully better solution between now and then. Notice that the law is only effective for a few months. So we anticipate that the state as a whole will be working with the federal government to see if there's a way we could get more funding to address this particular situation. So like I said, the moratorium is only effective until end of January 31st. So after that, then the landlord can pursue, according to what the law says. Now, having said that, beginning in October 5th, in fact, landlords can, start the lawsuits under any other circumstance, regardless. So for anything other than payment of rent due to COVID-19, they can also, do the eviction otherwise. So I don't know if that's clear, but this law pertains only to COVID-19 related non-payment of rent, and also temporary. And the other situations, let's say the landlord can also, begin their proceedings in court. So any other violation of the lease agreement under federal law, state law, or otherwise, other than this payment of rent for COVID-19, they can still pursue the cause of action.
Okay. So with the COVID-19 issue where the tenants aren't paying rents, is there some sort of a mechanism in place where they have to provide some sort of a proof that they have been impacted by COVID-19, like lost a job or they contracted the virus or something of that nature?
Yeah, I think in the statement that's provided by the tenant to the landlord, that tenant would have to declare that under penalty of perjury. And I think there's no, obviously loss of job is a good way to, is a good reasoning. If the loss of the job is due to a pandemic. So the requirement would be that the tenant would have to provide a statement that is signed under penalty of perjury. So the purpose for that is to weed out any potential fraudulent claims, I guess, on the part of the tenant. And that statement would have legal and binding effects.
And what ramifications would the tenant have for lying under that after signing that penalty of perjury. I mean, sometimes they don't even feel that they understand that clause.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the ramifications would be whatever is provided under current law, which is that it's a line under penalty of perjury, meaning that you're stuck to that statement. That is your statement, official statement, for example. So if you in the future say something contrary to that, then you'll be lying to the court. So that could be a contempt violation. Could be a contempt imposed on the part of the violator. So yeah, it's so that's the difference between a statement that's signed under penalty of perjury versus, let's say, you just scribble some notes saying I can't pay rent because. So that is not as weighty as the one that's signed under penalty of perjury. So once you do that, then it's your testimony, your sworn testimony, so to speak. So if you deviate from that in the future, then you will be held to a potential penalty or contempt of court.
So another question here that I see are they're pretty similar in a lot of the matters. What protections are there any legislators, or is there any legislation coming down that will protect landlords? Because landlords have expenses like taxes, insurance, utilities, not just the mortgage, maintenance, but forbearance offers only so much protection besides after the fact that the bank can still request full payment on a few cases. Is there any legislation coming down that can protect the landlords, the small owners, the mom and pop shops?
There was a piece of legislation that dealt with forbearances, and that was a bill carried by Assemblymember Monique Lemont, and I believe the bill was 2501. The bill didn't quite make it all the way through. It died on the assembly floor. By the way, I supported that bill, and the bill essentially would have allow some kind of forbearances for homeowners with the bank. And I think the reason it failed was because obviously it didn't have enough votes. So I forget what the vote count was on the floor, but they were trying to negotiate a deal amongst all the stakeholders, the bankers, obviously, the mortgage servicer, the landlords and the tenant groups. So there was some support. There was also opposition, heavy opposition as well. So it didn't quite make it all the way through. But I anticipate that depending on the outcome of this AB 3088, there might be something that people would try again. 2501, I think, narrowly lost. I think so. If there's some appetite for it, meaning that if there's enough interest to continue that dialogue, I'm sure somebody will carry that bill once again. Because I think I received requests from various stakeholders also regarding forbearance issues as well. So 3088 essentially tries to help with the eviction situation, the tenant situation. But yeah, I think the question is right on. And what about landlords? So there were attempts already made, and I'm sure there will be continued efforts to try to help everybody, because I think we're all in it together. So tenants, landlords alike, and everybody's in the same situation. So yes, yeah. I anticipate there will be. So that's the short answer. And there was an attempt made, and we almost got it out. So out of the assembly, so almost, but close.
Okay, this will be the last question on this one. There are a lot of cases filed by landlords for the evictions that are still stuck in court. Do you know when those cases will start moving forward so they can get some judgments and see what they're going to, the next steps?
I think some of the cases that are non-pandemic related, I think those will be resuming soon, if not already. And I mentioned the October 5th date, just a few days from today. So that is the date. In fact, the moratorium was lifted on September 1st. So after that, then Judicial Council has no moratorium anymore, except for 3088. So
Okay.
all other cases will still proceed. If there's a violation under federal law or non-pandemic related back rent or rent failure today, I think they can still proceed. But the others, all the COVID-19 cases will begin in March 1 of next year.
Very cool. Well, I know you're a little bit past your time here, so I'm going to collect any other questions there are. There's a few others, and I'll probably send them over to Daisy. Like to thank you for your time this morning, and you're a friend of our association, we're a friend of yours, so I think as we all work together to help each other, it makes everything better for everybody. So I really appreciate your time. And if you have any closing remarks.
I just want to take a minute to thank all of you for your work. I know it's been difficult on your job, and hopefully we'll stick it out, and I'll be able to see you guys in person, and really enjoy talking with you folks. And I missed the time that we had personal contact, and speaking to a computer is different, obviously. So I wish all of you well, and feel free to any questions, feel free to ask away with Daisy and to follow up, and I truly hope that we could go back to a little bit of normalcy soon. So keep up your good work, and thank you very much for your support, and thanks for having me.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for your time. You have a great week.
Thank you, Giuseppe. And on behalf of the West San Gabriel Valley Realtors, we would like to thank our guest speaker, Assemblymember at Chau 49th District. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Today, our affiliate spotlight, Ami Adini Environmental Services, will be brought to you by the affiliate committee. The floor is yours, Ami.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ami Adini, environmental professional. I've been doing it since 1988, phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessments. I'm married to my wife, Rivka, since 1967, and it always feels like we just married. And we live in California, bungalow, 1913 California bungalow, which we love a lot. And you see my wife here, and she is examining some documents, I guess. And here is my daughter, Sigal. She's married to Tony. They live in Sylmar. And here we are about, gosh, what is it, no, it's not 1950, I'm sorry. It's 50 years ago. It's about 1970, mistake. So here is my daughter and I, about 1970, 50 years ago. My daughter worked for 20 years with a drug education program called Narconon, where she and Tony, her husband, educated 40,000 children in schools on the dangers of drugs. And they have been awarded from Los Angeles Police Department and Celebrity Center International. And here I am marching in the Say No to Drug March in Universal Studios. We love hiking. We think that San Gabriel Mountains are a terrific place to hike. Here I am with my friend Testa. He's from Switzerland. And here we are again in the mountains around Sylmar. We think it's beautiful. We don't think we need to go far away to find the beautiful mountains and enjoy a good time. Santa Monica Beach, we'll love it. We've been there last weekend. We'll go there this weekend. We think it's second to none. And here I am in Glen Ivy Hot Springs, preparing for the World Wrestling match, taking a mud bath. And I love also boxing. I've been doing some boxing since 1962, and it's a great, great aerobic exercise. Graduated in 1964 in mechanical engineering with a credential also in nuclear and chemical engineering, and migrated to the United States in 1977, became a citizen in 1985, and was dreaming about running to the President of the United States in 2011. Here I am photographed with Air Force One, and this is the end of my expiration for the presidency. Thank you very much again. I love to be your friend. I love to be a member of the association. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ami. We will now have our top affiliate introductions for today.
Ami,
Please
can you
remember
stop sharing?
And the first one is Brendan Sarevsky, First American NHD. And we have Mark Wu from Allstate Insurance. And we have Sandy Franco, First American Home Warranty.
Good morning, everyone. Brandon Sarevsky with First American Natural Hazard Disclosure. I hope everyone has a great day.
And good morning, everyone. This is Mark with Allstate Insurance for your property insurance needs. 5 languages out of our office, willing to help you with your buyer transaction. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sandy Franco, First American Home Warranty. Have a fantastic rest of your week.
Next one will be Sage Gomez, My NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Sage Gomez with My NHD. Have a great day.
Next, we have Cosmo Sanchez from New Aim Funding.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cosmo Sanchez with New Aim Funding. Thank you.
Okay, next we have John.
Hi, this is John Wax with Snap NHD Natural Hazard Disclosure Reports. Here for all your natural hazard disclosure needs. Be safe, be positive, be productive. I'm here for you. Thank you for your business.
Hong Chiang is next.
Hi, this is Hong. Protect insurance policy. Make sure they have enough coverage.
And hello, this is Townsend from TJ Management. We can help you take care of your client's property management and then bring back to you when your homeowner decides to buy or sell. Thank you.
Hold on, you need to unmute yourself. Okay, go ahead.
All right, and we are happy to include open pitching to our virtual MLS breakfast meeting. Let's get started. And we have Sean.
Good morning, everyone. Sean with VMAX. I want to let you know this piece of raw vacant land. It's located in 29 Palm, close to the desert. It is huge, 10 acres. Cross street is Amboy Road and Normglow, which is on Highway 62. It is good for development of multiple single resident or tract homes. Only minutes to the shopping center and school, asking for $38,000 only. So seller is very motivated. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. And next we have President's Message by Mindy Ye, 2020 President.
Thank you, William. Good morning, WSGVR family and friends. Thank you for attending our weekly virtual MLS breakfast meeting, and we're always grateful for your continued support as a valuable member of West and Gable Valley Realtors. Please don't hesitate to reach out to our leadership team and staff. We're always here for you. I want to wish everyone a happy Mid-Autumn Festival, and with that, I would like to share this with all of you. May your life be as perfect as the full moon on the night of Mid-Autumn Festival.
Thank you, Mindy.
No,
sorry.
This is a CAR September 2020 new forms, the 10 new forms that I mentioned last week. Please visit car.org and search for forms. I have some breaking news for you from NAR, National Association of Realtors, yesterday. There's one of them I'm going to mention that's important to us. The U.S. Senate approved a bill yesterday that was funded for the federal government through December 11. The bill includes a full-year extension of National Flood Insurance Program called NFIP. The bill, which was passed by the U.S. House last week, now goes to President Trump. He is expected to sign it. Under the agreement, NFIP authorized its extension to September 30th, 2021. This is the second year in a row we have secured a full fiscal year extension for flood insurance. It is a victory for realtors, and sometimes we fought for very hot, said Shannon McCon, the incoming chief Advocacy Office of NAR. So she says that while we continue to work toward comprehensive reforms and long-term reauthorization, the market needs stabilization and continuity. Sorry. With that, I would like to thank our special guest today, Assemblymember at Chau. Please also join us next Thursday, October 8th at 9 a.m. Our special guest will be City of Baldwin Park Mayor Manuel Lorenzo, and Benjamin Martinez, Director of Community Development. Topic will be Baldwin Park City updates. Additional information will be available by the end of this weekend. Thank you, William. Take it away.
Thank you, Mindy. Next, we will have our attendance drawing. Please type your member name and email in the chat box. And our first winner is Jessica Han. Jessica Han, are you here?
She's here.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Jessica, could you please type your email address on the chat box, please?
Sure, I will. Thank you.
And our second winner is all right, Elaine Odell. I hope I spelled your pronounce your name right. Elaine?
Not here.
Not here.
Call 3 times, please.
All right. Next winner, second winner is Michelle Lin. Are you here, Michelle? Michelle Lin. Michelle Lin, second time. Are you here with us?
No.
No, she's not. Okay, next, please. Our second winner
is me.
It's Jacqueline Chen. Jacqueline Chen going once.
She's here.
Twice. Are you with us, Jacqueline?
Jacqueline, could you?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Okay, please type your email on the bottom. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
And our last winner for today, is it Y. Liu? Y. Liu going once, Y. Liu going twice. Nope, you're not here.
Nope.
Let's go to the next one. Our last winner for today. Could it be you?
It could be me.
Daniel Chen. Daniel Chen
here.
going once.
Daniel is here.
Daniel Chen, if you're here, please unmute yourself.
Daniel
Chen.
Yeah, I'm here.
Great.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Great.
And Daniel, please type in your name and email in the chat box. And at this time, I would like to welcome Thomas Wong, Membership Special Events Chair, and Nanette Ong, Vice Chair, to tell you about the upcoming events. Thomas and Nanette.
Thank you, William. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Nanette. So just to give you an update, last Saturday, we hosted and we completed our series of 4 events. We had so much fun. Some of the participants, they were saying, can we extend the game because we're having so much fun? So that tells you it was a success. So that was part of the Member Appreciation Week. So I would like to thank everyone that participated. And on behalf of our committee, we would like to congratulate all the winners, the 9 winners. We have Dorothy Tam from Realty, Cynthia Hong, Jock Liu, Frederick Morga, Allison Liu, Koti Wu, and the winners from the bingo was Pauline Lam, Ann Wang, and William Yi. So congratulations to all of them. So right now, I would like to, Nanette, what's next in our agenda for our committee?
Hi, good morning, Tomas. You know, I rolled out of bed and fell into this meeting this morning, so I just freshly dreamt. I had a dream that someone in here had won a karaoke contest. And ironically, we have a karaoke contest for everyone here to participate in for a chance to win cash prizes of $75, $50, and $40. It's a fun way to partake in activity, either solo or with others, with social distancing in mind, of course. For those who have kids, what a fun way for your kids to participate and be creative and create a video with you. And for all, this is a memory you can have for a chance to win now, but for memories many years to come, to watch back on this video maybe 10 years from now and laugh and enjoy it. So you can also sing it or lip sync. So if you don't have a voice you want to showcase, you can lip sync it. How fun is that? The deadline for the submission of the video is October 21st. Please keep the video under 4.5 minutes. And also please follow the instructions on our flyer on how to submit the video. If you send it through your phone or other ways, it may come to us blurry and we won't be able to view it and everybody else won't be able to view it. So we'd like to see it clearly. So we thank you for submitting it through our guidelines on our flyer. If you have any questions, please contact the board. They'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions on how to partake in this video showdown. Thank you. Tomas, is there anything else?
Well, Nanette, I think we have other events as well. Like, you know, every year we hosted the pumpkin carving contest. So that's coming up. There will be more information. It's going to be, of course, there will be some guidelines to follow. And in addition to that, what else? We're going to have the costume contest. This is the first time it's going to be virtual. So my question to you is, what are you going to do for Halloween? How are you going to make it so fun? So we are welcome everyone to participate and stay tuned. There's going to be more information about those two events. Thank you. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Tomas and Nanette. And next, please make sure to participate in our education classes. A list of upcoming classes is displayed on your screen. First, we have the 5-part virtual series, The Ultimate Guide to List and Sell Commercial Investment Property. It is on Thursday, October 1st, 2020, which is today, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The cost is free. Second, we have a webinar that is for license renewal, DRE 45-hour continuing education. It is happening tomorrow, Friday, October 2nd, 2020, starting from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The cost will be $85. Next, we have a webinar. The topic is 1031 exchanges and using Delaware Statutory Trust, DST, for exchange planning. It is happening on next Monday, October 5th, 2020, starting from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And the cost is free. Then we have a webinar topic on deep dive on farming for your next listing. It is happening next Tuesday, October 6th, 2020, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. The cost is also free. And the next, okay, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining our meeting today. We hope to see you again next week when we welcome our next week's speaker, Baldwin Park Mayor Manuel Lozano and Director of Community Development, Benjamin Martinez. Their topic will be Baldwin Park City updates. And don't forget to register for Reimagine, taking place October 12th to October 14th. Please also support our affiliates with your transactions. And this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.